Alright, guys. So today, we're not doing a tier list. I know. It's crazy. Kevin in the back over there is astonished. I see him freaking out. But yeah, we're not doing a tier list today. Today, we're doing a bracket fight. Know what you're saying? Bracket fights and tier lists are the same thing. Shut up. No, they're not. They're not even close. Now, see, this is on bracketfights.com, and I don't like that there has to be an absolute victor because the way I'm running this bracket is not about the winner. It's the winner of each section. See, like this section is the main protagonist, the main hero of the story. Down over here is the second in command, pretty much the secondary protagonist, you could say. This is the powerhouses of the group, and then over here is just like the fourth rung. They're still, one of the main characters, like one of the most main characters, but third rung. Now, as you can see, I did One Piece, My Hero Academia, and Hunter x Hunter, also Seven Deadly Sins, and those characters have a lot more than four main characters. So I had to, shave it down to who I consider to be the most important for each category. First, we're starting off with protagonists, the main protagonists. Now, between Gon and Luffy, actually, let's go from the bottom and go up. Let's work with the lower rung. First off, Asui and Frankie. Now, I know what you're thinking. Those two characters aren't even comparable in the slightest. You're 100% right. Frankie's better. I'm glad you agree with me. Next, we have Leorio and Merlin. Now, you're probably saying the same thing for this one that you said for the last one. And once again, you are correct. But we're going to go based off personality for this one. And although Merlin is amazing and one of my favorite characters in all of anime, Leorio is a bit more, he's more calmer. He's more street smart, but at the same time, really business smart. He's cool. I like him. I'd put him better. Now we're gonna jump over to the powerhouses of the main four. We got Mr. Sanji versus Escanor. Now this is a toughie because Sanji is a powerhouse because in One Piece not all of the Straw Hats are considered powerhouses. They have the main three: Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji. I put Sanji as the powerhouse instead of Zoro, because I think Zoro has a closer connection to Luffy, so I would consider him be second in command. So instead, Sanji is put at the powerhouse. Now, because of that, we're gonna have to go off of personality again. Sanji is very chivalrous, only towards women. He is also a bit of a simp. We got a simp in the house, but the problem is that these characters are both simps. Sanji, unlike Escanor, is a simp towards all females. Every female, he acts amazing to. But Escanor is only a simp to Lady Merlin. And the way that they act is completely different. I would probably have to say that the Escanor is better because he is fudging amazing. He has a very cocky personality, but then at nighttime, he's like this little shriveled little man who is, too afraid to even yell at people. Stuff like that, and he only ever simps for Miss Merlin. He'll be Miss Merlin's footstool if it comes to that. Next up is Kurapika and Uravity, because I can't remember her name. I think it's like Ochigo, something like that. We're gonna say Uravity though. Now you might be saying Uravity is not a powerhouse, and you're right, but I would say she's the strongest besides Deku and Bakugo. in this. I'd say she is stronger than Asui, even though Asui can turn invisible and just strangle her from afar. Um, Out of these two, I'm just gonna have to go with my boy Kurapika. Now I know what you're thinking to yourself if you have not watched Hunter x Hunter. What do you mean, boy Kurapika? Kurapika is clearly a girl's name. How could you even say that? You're wrong. It's sadly a boy. I know. I thought it was a girl too, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles. I would absolutely say Kurapika because Kurapika has such a serious air about him. He's a lot more intense about things, and he has a purpose. Her career choice, as she says, is only to help her family because they're in like a tough spot. But that's cool for her. But he is fighting for his entire clan. He's avenging his entire dead bloodline. So next, we're gonna go on over to the second in command. Second in the command, we got Killua and Roronoa Zoro. Now, I matched these two up together because they're both the most serious people in their respective groups once they have to fight. In a fight, they are the most, just like, we need to get this done. I have the skills to do it. So, which one do I think is better? God, is that a difficult question. I have racked my brain about this for the past 10, 20 minutes about which one I think is better. And, it's such a hard decision. And I'm going to say an answer, but I guarantee if you asked me again in like a week, my answer might be different. But I'm going to have to say Zoro just because he trained for his power. He had to go through all these trials and tribulations to get what he wants, but Killua was just kind of raised into it. He was just the prodigy child. So of course he's gonna be powerful. So I gotta give it to Zoro. Next is Bon and Bakugo. Two very different characters, but two very destructive characters. I'm gonna have to go with Bon just because he's really chill, down to earth, but he's also completely insane and just fudges everything up for no good reason. Now, we're not going to even touch the main protagonist section until we finish everyone else. Next up, we got Leorio versus Frankie. Now, you might say to yourself, is this even really a competition? Not really. It is, but it isn't. If we were talking about post time skip Frankie, where his character design is absolute garbage, then I would probably have to say Leorio just based off of the garbage character design. But I'm talking about Frankie as a whole, so taking the good with the bad, we're assuming the best parts of Frankie. I'm gonna have to say Frankie takes the cake. His personality is so vibrant. He's the shipwright. Like, everything about him, I would say, is just generally better than Leorio. Next, Escanor and Kurapika. Kurapika has his whole self-seriousness about him, while Escanor is just confident in everything he does. He has no need to feel self-serious because in his eyes, no one's even near him. So, I'm gonna have to go with Escanor. Next is Roronoa Zoro and Bon. Now, this is even harder than Killua and Roronoa Zoro because these are two of my favorite characters in all of anime, like, period. I genuinely enjoy Zoro and Bon's character so much that I could make an entire video on each of them individually, and that video could be like an hour long as to why I just love them both so much. They both kind of have similar personalities. They're kind of like lax and chill. The only difference is that when Zoro goes into a fight, he gets serious. But I'm gonna have to go with Bond just because I like the whole masochist angle about him. I think it's really interesting and cool. finally, we have to go to the protagonists. Now, I'm going to start from down here because these are my two favorite protagonists. So you know that that's going to be an interesting thing to talk about. But instead, we're going to talk about Deku and Meliodas first. Obviously, Meliodas takes it because Deku is a garbage protagonist. He doesn't deserve his powers. He only got it because he sacrificed himself. What? Ninjas, so many people sacrifice themselves all the time. And it's not even like his sacrifice was worth anything because he got absolutely nothing done with his sacrifice. And he loves, just complaining. And it's like, I didn't even deserve this quirk. You should have gave it to Mirio. You're right. He should have gave it to Mirio. Sorry, I got a little heated there. Luffy. Monkey D. Luffy. Gon. Gon Freaks. The two best characters in all of anime. How could I possibly choose between these two in terms of protagonists? See, because this list, I'm trying to not have it just be my personal opinion on. This is instead based on as a protagonist. And as a protagonist, I would have to say that Gon, actually, Luffy works better. I feel really bad for saying that because I kind of like Gon a little bit more than Luffy, but Luffy is a better protagonist because he convinces everyone to join his cause. Even people that are his enemy, he still makes them like him. And he has so much joy, even in terrible situation. Gon, on the other hand, is a kid. He's subject to change. Even throughout the series, he goes from like this super fun, really happy kid to like pretty much depressed, and like it's clear that his mental state completely shifts. But Luffy is able to hold his own throughout the entire time and keep all of his friends in with him all together. Now, Luffy to Meliodas. Meliodas is also a great protagonist because at the beginning of the series you think like, oh, this guy's way too OP. How is it even a fun series to watch? Blah 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 blah. But then you see like his personality, and you get to witness the deep problems in his soul. Throughout the entire series, you start learning about how, he can't die. His loved one has to die every single time that she learns that she loves him. He's been alive for thousands and thousands of years. All these bad things happen to him all the time, and yet you always see him smiling. You always see him happy. You'll never catch him like even frowning. Because he won't let himself. He's built up a bunch of protective layers that you'll never see him truly sad. While Luffy can crack. Luffy's friendly nature can have a little bit of cracks. It's not as drastic as Gon, but it does crack a little bit. And I'd have to say that as a protagonist, they are actually almost equal. But I would have to give it to Meliodas, even though I consider Luffy a much better protagonist. Meliodas is better as the main character. So this is the list of, the best protagonist, best second in command, best powerhouse, and fourth ringer. Thank you all for watching. And Kevin, as I said earlier, I'm sorry for calling you out. I know we're freaking out in the corner, but it's all right. I'll see you all later.